So good evening once again from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. This is Simon Fraser, Executive Director for AusCham Vietnam. Welcome to our second out of 3 webinars that we've done to cover us during COVID-19 pandemic. It's interesting, I've just been looking back at some of the history. We've done, I think in total, about 276 AusCham Sundowners. And of those, we've missed 1. And now this is our 3rd webinar. So I don't want to make this something that might continue on, and we hope that there might be some respite very soon with the current lockdown and restrictions. So I think we're on a pretty good average that we've only missed a couple over the past 23 years of AusCham. So wherever you might be, because I know that our audience stretches across the globe, it's just not people tuning in from Vietnam. Wherever you might be, I just hope that you're safe and well. So I guess the current situation for people who are in Vietnam is that we're finding that we're going through our 4th wave of coronavirus, much like a lot of the people around the world are at the same time. It's good to see that Vietnam is actually ramping up vaccines and also addressing the testing issues. I mean, even where I am today in Ho Chi Minh City, I think across a lot of the districts, and those people who do know the city would know that there's a very high population rate in different areas, and I'm in District 3, and the plan is that all of District 3 will be tested within the next couple of days, which is a monumental task. And I've been through it today, and I think a lot of other people around here that I know will be going through it over the next few days. So I think it brings together the fact that there are vaccines coming. The government is doing a very positive job in the testing, and also that it shows a really strong community. So it's really promising to see that we're moving forward. So I just want to share a couple of other things that I've found over the past few weeks that we've been in lockdown. It's just this feeling of disconnect from community, and also I feel as though I've got this short-term memory where I just is failing me, but it's just that we're getting into these habits, and almost as if we're in a sort of a cocoon because we have these routines. And it's something that I think we all have to work towards trying to break, is just, you know, that there will be an end to what we're going through at the moment. And there are different ways of getting over the current feeling that we have. And basically, one of the things that AusCham intends to do over the next few months, because we see this as a longer term issue, is to have more than usual webinars. And these webinars will be addressing things like people's physical health, people's mental health, also addressing other issues in the community, also making plans to have very meaningful, larger events that we usually have each year, signature events as well. So we're looking forward to having education, the real estate. Hopefully we'll be able to go to golf again, golfing as well. The Australian Business Awards will be back this year, and obviously, and we hope that we'll do a repeat performance of the ball, which was very successful last year as well. So the other initiative that we're doing is there'll be a relaunch of our website, and also a new app, and also e-newsletters. So these are all to communicate more effectively with our members and friends and the community in general. And I hope that you'll partake in the new communications that we have planned as well. So just from a technical point of view, I'd like to just speak about our F&B partners. Now, the F&B partners have obviously had a lot of a lot of trouble over the past few years, over the past year. Right, what are you doing?
I mean, share screen.
Just a moment. So I want to talk about our F&B partners, because, you know, the thing is, at the moment, through the restrictions, sorry about that, just some technical issues, but with our F&B partners, and you can see them on the screen at the moment, a lot of these are small to medium enterprises. And, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of us are basically restricted to staying at home and not moving around. Obviously, we still need to eat. And our F&B partners are a very important part of our community as Australians as well. So I'd like to promote them here, and also remind you that basically all of these people that you can see on the screen are small to medium businesses, and they're joined with AusCham as well. And also, I'd like to think that you're supporting them, and you can do so through this event tonight as well. More problems. So I'd like to also thank our corporate sponsors. As you can see, without our corporate sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. We wouldn't be able to survive as a chamber, and I thank them very much. Now, they come across at different levels. We have our platinum and we have gold, we have silver and we have bronze, but the contributions that all of them make our chamber a much stronger chamber, and this is transferred to our members. It doesn't matter if you're a platinum or corporate member to an individual member. Everybody makes a difference, and we really appreciate the effort that our corporate members and corporate sponsors make. So tonight, I wanted to also introduce you to Julianne Cowley. Basically, I asked Julianne to be a part of the discussion tonight and have a conversation with me about her role with the Australian government and also in Vietnam. So Julianne Cowley is the Australian Consul General in Ho Chi Minh City. She's a senior career officer with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and was recently Assistant Secretary, Health Policy Branch. She has previously served as Assistant Secretary, Staff and Welfare Development Branch, DFAT, Assistant Director General, People Policy and Planning Branch of AusAid, and Departmental Liaison Officer, Office of the Parliamentary Secretary for International Development and Assistance. Julianne holds a Master of Business Administration from University of Southern Queensland, a Bachelor of Communication and Graduate Diploma in Education from the University of Canberra. With those credentials, I'd like to introduce you to Julianne Cowley. Thank you. Hi, Julianne.
Thank you very much, Simon. Hi, that's a very formal introduction.
I know, it's too formal.
Lovely to be here, and given that it has gone past 5, I hope people have a good glass of Rado wine in hand. Thank you very much for the killer canoe. But yes, very, very pleased to be here. So thank you for the chance to join and chat with people.
That's excellent. Thanks, Julianne. Now, just, not everybody knows you, but I have the honour of working with you quite often. And I just want to run you through a couple of icebreakers, just a couple of questions so that people get to know you a little bit more. So this one, it won't be too painful, it won't take too long, but I'm just curious, whereabouts do you hail from in Australia?
Oh, like every good government person, I come from Canberra, which is unusual. Most people move to Canberra for the job, but yeah, cold Canberra. If you follow me on Twitter, is frequently featured on there as my hometown, Ngunnawal land. Excellent.
So how long have you been in Vietnam?
Now, came at the end December 2018. And yes, it's been a time of 2 stories in that time, but yeah, coming up 2 and a bit years now.
You've been enjoying it, no doubt.
Absolutely. How could you not?
So did you come here, have you come with family and how?
Yes, so here with my husband Anthony, who's studying full time, and back in to a uni in Australia, and I've got 3 little kids. So when we arrived, there were 3 under 5. The eldest has just had his 8th birthday, so we are familiar with the homeschooling and lockdown with little people, which is challenging on its own, really.
I'm sure you're busy enough, aren't you? So, having spent that time in Vietnam, and I'm sure you've seen quite a bit of Vietnam as well. What would be your favourite destination to date?
In Ho Chi Minh City? So you asked me that today, and tears fell up in my eyes. This week we had our first ever trip booked to go to Con Dao. I was very much looking forward to it. I never book holidays in advance, and I think this is probably the reason why. So that's not planned. Yeah, I mean, I've got to do a bit of travel down the Mekong Delta. So my responsibilities go from Da Nang all the way down. So I try and do a fair bit of regional travel down the south. And to that end, I don't really get up north much. But yeah, I mean, Vietnam's an amazing place. So many beautiful places to visit. I'll have to come back.
So tell me, how would you describe Vietnam in one word?
Vibrant.
Yeah, I think you. I'd say the same.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk to people at home, and particularly, look, it was that first year and a half that I was here, absolutely, and we all know this city, particularly, and how it's changed. But it's still the word that I say. I mean, it is a vibrant place. The people, the business opportunities, the food, the weather, the storm, everything is big, and it's an exciting place to be. So, yeah, that's my word for Vietnam.
So I think that look, I know you well enough, and just a couple of quick ones. As a wine lover, red or white?
Both. Can I? No. Maybe not together. Well, yeah. Look, that's a hard one. Red. Okay, Australian red wine from the Barossa, Clare Valley, anywhere down that way, but no, Victoria, anywhere else, it's all
anywhere.
All good.
Anywhere. And here's the last one for you, and this is usually a telling one: cats or dogs?
Fish. I don't know. That's offend both sides of the audience. Both for wine and none for animals. How about that?
All right, we'll park that one. Hey, on a more serious note, I think it, before we bore everybody, but no, I just wanted to, get to know you a bit more, at least anyway. But more on the serious side, I guess I was curious to know, and maybe a lot of people may be meeting you for the first time. Maybe they don't know what the role of the Consul General is, but can you share with us what the role of the Consul General in Ho Chi Minh City is, and also the Australian government in Vietnam?
Yeah, it's a big question, because the job's actually a huge job too, and this is the absolute privilege of my life to be able to serve in this job in this town. I think the job, maybe to explain it for people who don't know. So, 85 people we have at the consulate. I know many of you will have battled the Vincom lifts to come find us on level 20 up there. We have attached agencies, so it's not just Foreign Affairs. We've got the Australian Federal Police. They do an incredible job working really closely with the local MPS on a whole range of things. That's even the operational fighting transnational crime, to capacity building, swapping information, that really close relationships. They're pretty important. Home Affairs, they are looking after all the Vietnamese who want to come to Australia. We have 300,000 people in Australia of Vietnamese descent, so lots of families, lots of reunions, and up until recently, lots of students wanting to study. About 24,000 people wanting visas to Australia every year, so we facilitate that. AusTrade, probably more familiar with the group that will be online supporting our businesses and increasing our trade, and we've got big ambitions there. And DFAT does a whole range of things. So on one side, we're about promoting Australia and our brand and soft power. When people think of Australia, what do they think about? To the other side, which maybe people don't see a lot of, but Consular supports Aussies in trouble. We have sadly a death a week of an Australian in Vietnam around about. We help those families. We have a really large prison population. We connect them to their families. We visit when we can. We check on conditions. We provide the letters back and forth and communications. We go to court cases and things. So the job is varied and wide. Probably it's best illustrated by some of the amazing things I've been able to do of launching a Australian coffee shop or a clothing store or a chicken shop, to being able to present Australian university degrees, right down to attending state funerals, and being able to write in the condolence books on behalf of Australia when senior Communist Party people pass away. So just the job is so many things on so many different days. It's quite incredible, but always I am absolutely super proud to represent the best of Australia.
Excellent.
And, we have a lot here, a lot of our businesses.
Yeah, so just obviously there's a lot of people working on behalf of Australians in both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City or across the country. It's how many you mentioned before, there's 80 something people in the office here in Ho Chi Minh City and across all those different areas to working on behalf of Australians to make sure that we're safe and secure in the country that we're in.
Yeah, so about 85 down here, and that's visa and home affairs and AFP, as I said, and then up at the embassy about 130 people as well. So they've got quite a big footprint, and yes, trying to do everything that we can across trade agreements, regulation, whole range of things here. And the first year it was supporting a lot of high-level visits. In my first year, I had 11. From governors general, agriculture minister visits, through to state ministers, and each of those we try and introduce, network, connect, make sure they're meeting their Vietnamese counterparts and making sure Australia is known in the Vietnamese system with government departments to be here, engaged, interested, and wanting to prosecute our key agendas.
And there's a question that everybody asks me, and I've probably asked you before. But does anybody know how many Australians are actually living in Vietnam? It's the unanswerable question.
It is a good question. Okay, we don't, because it's not a matter of kind of registering Australians. And up until recently, there were a lot of people who would have different arrangements where they might live 6 months here and 6 months at home, and back and forth. If I was put on the spot for a best guess, which I am being, I would go with about probably 4,000 to 5,000 down south. Mm-hmm. So reasonable sized community, and 1,000 to 2,000 up north. But of course, the last couple of years we've seen a lot of change to that too, as people's circumstances have changed and they've needed to head home for different reasons too. But it's a pretty strong community. On the business side, I think we have around 450, 500 businesses. A lot, as you said, a lot of SMEs who are doing an incredible job. Bringing specialist expertise and product and all sorts of things in market. So, a few really big, well-known business brands, which will be familiar to you all as well. But it's a good business community, and I've been pretty lucky, through AusCham and otherwise to connect.
Excellent. So, getting closer to where we are at the moment during a pandemic. And you talked about the services the Australian government offers or has in Vietnam for Australians, and obviously to develop two-way trade, etc., between the two countries. Have you seen the delivery of services change over the period that we've been in COVID-19, and possibly in which areas?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like everything, things have changed. I spend more time on WebEx and not actually meeting humans in person. Like everyone, and I use the word pivot more than I should, unfortunately. No, look, I think probably consular changed a lot and in a hurry. And if I think back to March 2020, when things, were kicking off, and even here a bit before that, when the global travel ban came in, it was a very quick response that was needed, and it's changed over time. So then we had a lot of Australian tourists in country, and I remember those days vividly. Like there was a group who were on their once in a lifetime trip. They joined a tour bus, and traveling around, they didn't necessarily know what province they were in. They knew they were meant to, land in Ho Chi Minh City on a Friday and fly out on a Saturday, and people were being, caught up in different and changing regulations in Vietnam. So we and my team, I have an excellent consular team. I'm, cannot speak more highly of the colleagues that I work with. They helped connect. Find out where people were, make sure they're safe, find out what's going on, get the information. And really, as we saw the flights starting to dwindle, we worked really hard to make sure that, the people who needed to get home, we could try and get them home urgently. And that's one group of people. Obviously, as this has gone on and on, the needs and things have changed for that time. And, across, the last year or more, really, there has been some people in pretty serious situations, some pretty vulnerable people, people with illnesses or other, or really needing to go home urgently. And again, that's something that where we work really hard to try and support Australians that need it. So that's one thing. I mean, on the prison visits, yes, we're not able to get there as often. Vietnam's making sure that COVID's staying out of the prison, so we're trying to make sure that we're still looking after that particular group of Australians in country. And if I talk about the trade, I mean, again, first year, 11 visits, there hasn't been a trade visit. So we are trying to be as creative as we can and work out ways that we can still talk about Vietnam. And in Australia, Vietnam has just gone up and up and up in terms of profile for businesses that want to come here. And the knowledge and the understanding of this market is growing and growing. And there's been some fantastic people behind that, not only just us, of course, but RMIT, Asia Society, that report at the end of the year. A lot of momentum and a lot of interest, a whole bunch of things driving that, of course. But Vietnam, we are still trying to do a lot of work back in Australia to talk about the opportunity that's here for us.
It's great. Sort of just staying on the theme of where we are at this time, and it's one of those unavoidable things. And sometimes I get people saying, "Can we talk about something else?" But I guess at this time, COVID-19 affects everything in our lives and everything around us. So when I ask this question, I know that the Australian government supports a lot of countries in the Asia Pacific region, and in lots of different ways. And I guess people would question why, and especially during time of a pandemic, why isn't the focus back on, say, our country? Why is the Australian government supporting the region on a wider basis?
Yeah, sure. So, look, I think that's a valid question and an interesting one. I think very clearly Australia is part of the Indo-Pacific. That's our region and our neighbourhood, and we have responsibilities and we have to work with others and have partnerships. So, the last few years we've made a really strong effort to have a step up in the Pacific, those Pacific Island nations. Our connection to them is pretty key to their stability, their prosperity. And you come back to what Australian values are. What do we hold dear? Well, and the things that we really value are those things that we want a stable region. That's in our national best interest. We want to make sure those international rules order is respected. We want prosperity. We want countries to maintain their independence and be able to make the best choices for their countries in the direction that they go. So it's a fascinating time. I mean, it's if you read anything in for people who are interested in foreign affairs and international stage at the moment, it's a really fascinating time. And just this week, my secretary of the department has finished, of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Frances Adamson. She's been the head of our organisation for the last 5 years. She did a presentation at the National Press Club, and it's recorded and available on iView for those of you that have ABC or otherwise. But I'd really recommend that because it talks a lot about the region perfectly and why this is important to us. Why we need to be an active citizen in our region, and we certainly are.
Yeah. Look,
is that too much government speak for a 6 o'clock drinks? You can tell me when you just go put up your jargon hand or something. I don't.
Yeah, I haven't. But do you want me to do this?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, subtle. It'll be good. Okay.
I'll just go for my glass. It's like okay. No, look, I think that's fair enough, and I understand that. Australia's part in the region is to bring stability because it's a benefit to Australia as a trading partner to all those other countries for survival. I mean, if we don't have a vested interest in any of these countries or the smaller countries surviving or being able to weather COVID-19, it's not in our interest. So it should be in our interest, and I appreciate the effort that the government is actually making to these countries as well. So I guess basically another question that I'd be curious to know more about is the Australian government is supporting the COVAX vaccine program at the moment. And do you have some feedback, or how does that look for us in Vietnam at this time?
Yeah, so and look, that segues perfectly from your question on, Australia and what we're doing in the region. The headline figure at the moment, I think it's up to 623 million in vaccines around our region. It's a global pandemic. It doesn't, we need to make sure that everyone is supported, and we're being a good partner. In Vietnam, so far bilaterally, $40 million we've supported, and in COVAX, 130 through the Quad grouping, $100 million. So we are trying to make sure that we are there, active and supporting our partners. I should just say too, that's not just about buying vaccines. This is a huge, complex logistical challenge for everyone, and Australia's support is, yes, vaccines, but also technical support. It's about cold chain logistics. It's about supporting the way in which the vaccines will be able to get to people as well, and that's what we've been working pretty hard in Vietnam on too. It's vaccines is a hot topic conversation, and kudos to AusCham for putting on the panel last week. Certainly tuned into a couple of weeks ago, tuned into that. To hear, and I know there's a lot of views, and I know that there is absolutely high interest. This couple of weeks I've been really encouraged to hear there are some Australians starting to get vaccines, and that's through Vietnam's rollout and the priority groups. So that's been really encouraging to see that. Super encouraged to see the government's commitment that foreigners are included in that priority rollout as they go forward, and we've been trying to make sure that we advocate and make representation for that too, to make sure that happens. So yeah, look, absolutely, I just wanted to kind of say that we've heard the interest, understand that, heard the frustration too, and yeah, I get that too, but it's a huge challenge for every country around the world, and at the highest levels we are trying to be the good partner that we want to be in Vietnam too.
Well, I think with people contributing to the COVAX program, and I think you touched on it before, is that a lot of that goes towards not only the vaccine and the distribution, but I think there's, a good part of that is also the education. Making sure that people understand that it's not something that, perhaps in a more developed country, you hear of in the US, people just going into a pharmacy to have a vaccine and then popping back a few weeks later to have the second one. That obviously people need to be, we need to temper their enthusiasm, I guess you could say, to when the vaccines arrive and to when people are going to receive them. So it's an all-encompassing program. It's not a matter of putting money into a fund where it's just buying up vaccines to distribute.
Yeah, I mean, supply is a huge challenge. If I can try and do two things at once, I can see a question that's just popped up as well, a common ask about people having access to being vaccinated and a way to register. And I think that's a good question. I haven't heard of anything concrete on that front, although I know there are some, I've seen in the last day or two, some of the private clinics are putting out things. So again, I'm not sure about what their access is to supply or how that will work. We will keep trying though to find out what we can, and our information is around what the Vietnamese health department is doing, how they're rolling that out. And we try and put out as much as we can on our Australian in Vietnam Facebook page. So that's kind of the best place to keep an eye on. If we get more information, we'll try and share it there as well. But I think at the moment what I've heard is that it's industrial zones, manufacturing, teaching, as some of those kind of groups that I have heard from Australians who've been able to access the rollout. So we'll see. But, Vietnam's doing a pretty amazing, I keep talking to people at home saying it's a bit of an arm wrestle here at the moment, and it is a tenacious, incredible country. So we wait and see what happens next.
Yeah, no, it's even with the testing, they talked about doing all of Ho Chi Minh City, and you think 13 million people. Yeah, so it's happening. It's really impressive to see when they mobilise what action can make a difference. So I did want to ask you another question, because I believe you have something to share with me about the focus on the Australian and Vietnam trade agreements and free trade agreements, and also the Triple ES.
Yes.
So I'll throw it
So
to you.
Simon, can I put you on the spot? Do you know what the Triple ES stands for? Because I'm from government. I like a good acronym. So
No, I thought I should have seen that one coming.
Okay, Triple ES. I'll get you off the hook. The enhanced, engaged economic strategy. The engage, yes, something like that. Okay.
Words, yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So no, actually, this is perfect timing, because when I was having a look today, our Minister P and the Minister for Trade has put out a press release for those who may not have seen it, that it is fantastic timing for the EASE, the Enhanced Economic Engagement Strategy, and it's boosting economic opportunities with Vietnam, and it's an announcement of $2.5 million for across 28 projects. So this was a pilot project funding round that was open to try and support those that are doing businesses at home and here, and how we can practically provide some support across a whole range of things. So as I said, it's pilot. We are looking to try and engage and do more as we go forward under the EASE. And thank you very much. I know there's a lot of businesses who've been engaged in the consultations and the lead up to that, so there'll be more announcements coming. But I actually thought that was really nice today in particular to have some good news about that of what the Australian government's supporting, and that's particularly here in Vietnam. It plays to what I was saying about how important Vietnam is at home, how much it's been talked about, it's in the spotlight and the focus, and there's some really excellent projects that are going to be supported under that. So, congratulations to those 28 organisations and people who have been involved in that. And I really look forward to, seeing what comes.
So with those applications, is that obviously the people who are going to be the recipients? That's congratulations to those people for being successful. Is that sort of news going to be made public to what areas of business and who these people are, and that should sort of, I guess, will there be a second round or is there more to come?
Yeah, so look, it's a pilot round, and we wanted to test it and see the level of interest and what comes of it. So that's put us in a good position as well. We'll kind of kick off with these 28. I mean, to give you an idea, just having a look, it's scaling up. One is scaling up technology of organic food production between Vietnam and Australia. Another is around female entrepreneurs in Vietnam and education. There's some around helping 300 Australian businesses grow and diversify their exports and supply chains to Vietnam. So it's going to be across a whole range of things, but the parameters were anything that's supporting the trade. And it's about this high level commitment. So our Prime Minister is a former Prime Minister of Vietnam, and our Prime Minister committed to become top 10 trading partners and to double our investment. So these are the kind of practical things that will help us progress that.
Right. Look, and that's fantastic news, and that's a scoop, I guess, isn't it? That's hot off the press.
It is. So yes, that's why I was trying to read it as we go. But anyway, that will be linked to, and we will put it out on our social medias, Twitter and otherwise. So yeah, but it's nice to see that there's still things happening aside from all this COVID business. Yeah.
That's because a lot of the time the conversation just goes. You'll be having a conversation about something, and then in the back of your mind it just seems to work its way back to COVID. But it's great. This is one thing that I think is absolutely fascinating, is that whilst that's top of mind for us at the moment, there's so many things going on in the background, so many positive things happening, and that the commitments that both Vietnam and Australia made to each other in the end of 2019, and the agreements we have in place since 2020, is that they're actually happening and they're making a difference as well. Yeah,
I think it is positive. And again, I have to pay a lot of kudos to this group and respect to our Australian businesses that are here. I can't, in my role, talk highly enough of the quality. We are really lucky that when I talk about Australia and brand Australia, we talk about quality, and we talk about occupying that premium space. And when people see that, Australian brand on things, we, be it education or otherwise, products and services, there's an expectation that comes with that, and our people deliver. So it's nice to talk about.
It is. It really is. It's a nice change to the general conversations we tend to have these days. So look, I think I see your eyes wandering. You must be looking at that glass, are you?
No, I'm keeping an eye on the chat box. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss. If there are people who want to type in questions, please do. I know, perhaps it's just a strange format, but yeah, and I can see there are people who are tuning in from Nha Trang and Hoi An. So it's really nice to connect a bit more broadly than just Ho Chi Minh City as well. But thank you very much for logging on. So yeah, please type away and
if there are questions for Julianne, please put them in the Q&A box. So I'm just curious also, I've known you in the time that you've been in Vietnam, and we've had lots of interactions and we've worked on different projects together, but I'm curious, out of everything that you've been doing, and I see you as a high achiever in your role here in Ho Chi Minh City, and you interact at every level across business and also socially. And I just think, I wonder what you would consider is the biggest difference you've made in the time you've been here in Vietnam in your role.
Well, thank you. I would hope that it is a lot of the activity that we've been doing on diversity issues, and that's across the board, not just on gender, but LGBTI, NAIDOC week coming up, and promoting, and talking about our amazing, beautiful First Nations people and cultures that we have. But I think kind of it's not just undertaking those conversations and activities for the sake of them. I actually think that it's really important that when we are Australia overseas, we are representing, again, the values of what we stand for. And as Australians, this comes back to us being open, tolerant, people who really want to promote diversity in a whole range of things. That's who we are as a multicultural nation. That's what I really honestly believe makes us stronger. And that is, it's been brilliant to be part of this community and talk about, what Vietnam looks like in Australia, because, I grew up with Vietnamese communities as part of Australia. That's modern Australia, of course. That was what we look like too. So, this kind of broad, diverse and tolerant nation is what we need to be promoting all the time. And that actually opens doors to a whole range of other conversations. When people see us as leading in those fields, and it's been lovely to have, the US look to us from time to time here and ask us to be on panels and talk about these things, or partner with the UK or, other like-minded countries to bring forward these really key messages. So that's kind of something that's, dear to my heart, of course, but hopefully, people will see the positives of why we take forward those initiatives too.
So I'm not sure if you have any other questions. Is anything else popped up there?
There's a great one saying, when is the Australian Vietnam government's targeting to be top 10 trade partners, and are they on track? You know what, when that was announced, thank God it didn't come with a deadline. So it was announced pre-COVID. And yes, we would have struggled a little, I think, given what we thought was going to happen. But no, we are going really well on those targets. We have both increased as each other's trading partners and gone up a little. But I think it's very much looking forward to the future about how we can continue to strengthen that. People on the line will be much more across the impacts of the CPTPP and ANZSA and other trade agreements. We're still to reap the full benefits of those, but as they come down over time, it's putting us in an even stronger position to make sure that we're strengthening these trade agreements. So we don't have a date, but it is something we reference frequently, and it is being tracked. And I think a good question. Thank you.
Excellent. So as working with DFAT, obviously, I think you have a certain number of years that you're seconded to a country or a role within DFAT. I guess your role here is coming to a close later this year, I think.
3 years we get.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself with the Australian government and DFAT in the future?
Wouldn't I like to know? So,
well, did you put your hand up for a job, or do you get to extend? Do you get to extend or say, I'm not leaving, try and get me out of here?
Look, I think as I started at the beginning, this role is the honour of my life to be appointed, and we always try and make sure that we leave things in a brilliant position for the next people to come in and do the job in their way as well, and they'll have bring a lot to it. So I have some exceptional colleagues in Canberra who will also, in turn be able to occupy the position of Consul General. And I guess I come back to my first opening comment that, I'm from Canberra, so I'm really lucky that the idea of finishing a posting and going back to Canberra is heading home for me. And like so many people who will be on the call tonight, it's been a really long time since we've been able to go home. I don't think anyone necessarily thought that we'd all be away, those that don't live here permanently, but that, even for the visitors and trips home, the part that I love about Vietnam is we're close to Australia, and it's just been so hard to not have those connections and be able to see family. And in that respect, again, how lucky are we? We have such a strong Aussie community here. I reach out and lean on many friends here, so that's been pretty special and pretty important these days too. So no, probably back to Canberra for me, I'd say, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Look, I think you'll be missed. You will. Well, I don't think. I know you'll be missed.
A few more months. I'll hang around for at least. We've got the rest of this year, so we've still got some things.
So if you were to spend some time, if things were to relax enough, and we can take holidays. It's funny, people say, "Oh my God, I want to take a holiday." Where would be your next holiday destination? Would it be Vietnam or would it be Canberra?
Yeah, probably seeing family at this point. But no, look, a holiday for me, again, coming back to having young children, it's I'm not running out the door to go traveling. I think a holiday is just getting a book and having a cup of tea and staying at home and kind of having a very quiet time. But no, of course, I would love to see more of Vietnam, and we will not be strangers to this country. We will be coming back many times. We've got friends and things to do here. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you get to Con Dao.
Yeah, there's time. We'll see. I know it's we've still got to. We'll see what happens. Yeah, no promises.
So I'm not sure if there are any other questions there, Q&A.
There's a good one. Vietnam v Australia World Cup qualifier on 7th September. Who will I be supporting? Australia, no question. I love Vietnam, but yes, we are strongly here to see Australia do well. That will be a good one to watch, I'm sure.
Totally. So, what are you, AFL or are you rugby?
AFL, Essendon. If you follow my Twitter account, I'm Essendon through and through. My dad grew up in Essendon, so it was an inheritance.
So I'll take back some of those comments, I think.
So well, yeah, it was. I mean, the Raiders growing up, were certainly featured as well, but and the Brumbies, good Canberra team, but no, definitely Essendon for me.
Excellent. Well, Julianne, it's been a pleasure, and as always, you look great on camera. I think anybody, and in person, and I'd say that if anybody knows me, they're probably thinking, why the hell am I sporting a beard? But
lockdown.
Well, so like most of the time you're wearing a mask, so nobody would know any of the difference. So I'm just putting it out there.
Look, any event where you can drink Australian red wine and you're invited to turn up with a drink, that's it's a pretty good place to be. So cheers. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Very much, Julianne, and have a great night.
Do you think the Bombers will make it to the top 8? Hang on, more importantly, yes, every year I think the Bombers will make it to the top 8. I mean, not only that, every year, we talk about getting a flag, and Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of disappointment learning how to do that. And look, can I also just say, if there are people online who wanted to ask questions, not publicly, or to come in, please contact us. And that's to say, in all seriousness, people are in all sorts of situations at the moment. Some people are facing, pretty hard times, and we mightn't be able to solve everything and support, but we have some access to be able to support in some circumstances. So, that's what we're here for, our consular team. I'll type the email address in the chat box. That might be easiest, but on our website, please, come and chat to us, and we'll see what we can do. Sometimes we can help.
Yeah, and I think that some people don't realise that Australian government's represented here by by people who are doing their job, and they're here to assist. Maybe we just have to get past some online sort of format and get to know the people in your office and actually just ask the questions that are relevant to themselves. So, thank you very much.
Yes. I'm getting sidetracked with the Essendon chat.
Oh, you've gone off on a tangent.
There we go. And I've just put the email address in there, so hopefully people can see that. But yes, reach out if there's if you're in a vulnerable situation, or there's something going wrong, or you're after some advice. We'll see what we can do. Excellent.
And Julianne, I can't thank you enough for your time tonight, and also for having a chat with me. I really appreciate it.
So, no worries. Thank you very much. And cheers.
And cheers. Thank you, everybody. And I'll leave you to it. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Great. So with the program now, we go back to a standard format, but there's also part of the reason why a lot of people do like the Sundowners and to be involved is that we do have a lot of announcements about news, and also about giving prizes, etc. as well. So each month we tend to have quite a few new members over the past, especially the past 12 months, join us. And so I'd like to celebrate the fact that there are a number of new members joining us in June. So as we move into July as well. So I just wanted to celebrate the fact that we have new members, Essential Flavors, who are a flavour manufacturing company. We have Logos, who are a large logistics company who have invested heavily into Vietnam just in the past 12 months, 18 months. Aid to Action, which is a charity, NGO, that is operating in Vietnam as well, mainly in the north of the country. And also Education for Nature Vietnam, who basically care about the welfare of animals, both protected and domestic. So very happy to have these people on board, and thank you very much. So I'd like to pass across to Brandon Tran. Brandon Tran is a new member as well, and for ATAD, Dong Nai Steel and Structure Corporation. And I'd just like to ask Brandon to give us an overview of ATAD, and also tell us what you're doing in Vietnam as well, Brandon.
Oh, hi everybody. Good to see you, and good evening. ATAD, we call ATAS, we are special in steel structure. We do a lot of projects related to the steel frame, like thermal plant, oil refinery, metro station, airport, and as well as supermarket, and many other. So we are established in 2004 in Long An province. In 17 years to now, we up to 2,500 employees and 4 factories, and we have 10 offices in Southeast Asia and also in Australia too. Also, we are really done more than 3,500 building and projects in Vietnam and outside Vietnam. So the next target, we will develop our company in Australia. Yeah, because after 17 years, our company, ATAX, believe we have enough people, financial, and knowledge to spread, make more business for international. Because of the COVID, otherwise now we will have another 2 offices in Africa now, but because COVID, we cannot. We have to postpone a couple months later, or maybe a few months later. But anyway, I'm so happy to join with AusCham and get to know Simon and everybody. And I hope I will join for many years longer. And we as a team and a family support each other. Thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, Brandon. And it's interesting to see the movement, especially in your industry, across Vietnam and also into Australia. And, it's exciting times, especially in the steel industry. So I think you guys are very well positioned. And I hope that through your association with AusCham, that we can be of assistance to you and make introductions, or at least assist in networking as well. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so following on with the standard format that we do have for AusCham, there's different ways of getting to know us and also communicating with us. And so please do consider following us on social media. Obviously, we're covered with Facebook and LinkedIn and also Instagram. So I look forward to hearing comments and also for you following us. The more people that follow us, the stronger that we are and the more interaction that we have with our community. So the other thing is we do have an AusCham chat, and I did mention earlier in the evening that basically these will be upgraded in the next couple of months. So I hope that we'll be able to interact more with you on a mobile basis than just with PCs or sending out e-newsletters, but it'll be in real live time. So I hope to think that we're sort of catching up with the digital revolution. Okay, so with as we move on to the best part of the evening, and I think a lot of as I said before, it's true, a lot of people do come to events, not only for the networking and having a drink and catching up, but also because we do offer some pretty good prizes. So I have drawn the prizes, and they're all witnessed, so none of my friends or myself are going to indulge tonight. But for the Sofitel, who are great supporters of AusCham, have offered us a complimentary 3-course business set lunch for 2 people at the hotel. Now, I've been for lunch here quite a few times myself, and it's a great, they change the menu on a daily basis. It's a great restaurant to visit, and hopefully with a lot of the F&B outlets and also hotels, we get back to some normality soon. So the winner of this prize is Michael Bates. So congratulations, Michael. The other thing I want to mention is each of the people who win a prize tonight will be contacted within 24 hours, and then we will ship your prize directly to you as well. So Koto is another great partner of ours, and we support them very much. They've been in Vietnam for quite a few years. I think it's about, with Jimmy Pham, they've been here for operating for almost 20 years now, I think. But they're very, very big supporters of AusCham, and we're very big supporters of theirs. There's a 500,000 dong voucher to be used in Koto Villa. Now, this is a Hanoi-based prize, so hopefully this will go to somebody worthy, and obviously perhaps in Hanoi, or who can travel very soon, and that is Lin Pham. Congratulations, Lin Pham. Now, I think this is probably one of the most coveted prizes generally, supported very well by Andy and Jackie Walls, is with RADA Vietnam. So basically we have the Evans and Tate collection here, which is a great collection. I've been to the Margaret River Winery on quite a few occasions, believe it or not. But the prize winner is Mary Dong Nguyen, and congratulations. And it's probably good timing as we're going into as we're in lockdown at the moment, and you don't need to go out, obviously. Hera Fine Jewelry and Diamonds have been a fantastic supporter of AusCham over the past nearly 12 months now, and they're very generous as well. And basically, I have two prizes here, 2 vouchers each of 2 million dong each. And they go to Erica Sato and Charlotte Scrimgeour. So I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Charlotte, and we will send you the vouchers tomorrow. Now, this is the one that always impresses me because you know, I should be the one winning this one and probably taking advantage of it. But Vietnamese Language Garden, I've known them for quite a few years, and I'd say that I've taken advantage of some of their classes and was a very good student. But I think you really need to engross yourself in the language, and obviously if you have a good teacher, and I'd say Vietnamese Language Garden that you should take advantage of their professional teachers, especially now. You know, maybe some people have the time, but certainly teachers need the work. So Tran Tin, Vietnamese, I'm not sure that you need the lessons, but as I said, this is all above board with our drawing of the prizes. So it might make a great gift to a friend or even a partner that you might want to learn Vietnamese. Thank you, Vietnamese Language Garden. Another prize sponsor is Vintage Collection. I think a lot of people would know them as by another name as the Vintage Emporium. They're an Australian-inspired vintage emporium restaurant group. So basically, we have 3 dining vouchers, each valued at 350,000 dong, and the prize winner is Lin Lei. So congratulations to Lin, and we'll send you the prize tomorrow. A new prize sponsor is Determinant, basically garment manufacturers, and they're offering a wrinkle-free T-shirt voucher valued at 1.19 million dong. So the prize winner is Oliver Woods. Congratulations, Oliver, and we will get your prize to you within the next couple of days. Discover is another brand which is new to us, but obviously probably not to a lot of people if I mention the name, Buffalo Tours. I'm sure a lot of people in Vietnam and around the region would know Buffalo Tours. Have offered us a hotel voucher for a 2-night stay at the Imperial Hotel in Hue. So when things do relax, it'll be a great place to head to, and maybe the prize should have gone to Julianne, but it doesn't. It goes to Queen Din, and thank you very much. So that's really the that's all the prizes. But I do want to just say a few thanks to finish the evening, and I think we're right on, just about right on 7 o'clock. I want to thank Julianne Cowley for her attendance tonight and speaking so freely and so candidly with myself and taking questions. And I do encourage you to participate with the Australian Consulate in Ho Chi Minh City. You know, you just have to ask the question. I'm sure you will get a response, and they're great people to deal with. And I'm not just saying that because I have a lot of time to work with them, but they're great people in and out of work, and Australians that just want to support Australians and make sure that we're safe and secure in the country that we're living in at this time. I'd also like to say thank you to all our prize sponsors, to our corporate sponsors, to our members, and of course our friends who have joined us tonight for this Sundowners. And as I said, you know, we've probably, out of 200 odd Sundowners we've had over the years, this is the 3rd online one. And I hope that we're bringing you information and that, you know, you might not be able to access just in general day-to-day living. So I just wanted to finish by saying thank you very much to our F&B partners, and you can see them on the screen here. And if you go to our website, they'll be on our website. Each of them have a hyperlink. So I think there's a pretty good collection of different, foods to choose from, and drinks and beverages as well. So if we are in this lockdown mode and you're spending a fair bit of time at home, think of these guys, because they'll be in the kitchen at their restaurants and establishments, and I'm sure that they'd be very keen to hear from you. But please do consider supporting them as we go through the times that we're in at this time. But otherwise, I could talk all night. I think most of the people that know me know that I'm never short of a word, but all I'd like to say is thank you very much for tonight to everybody, and that you stay safe and well, and that our paths will cross face to face again very soon. Thank you.